All right, everybody. Hi, welcome back. Welcome to another exciting episode of Copyright Watchdog. Okay, big news. Voltage Holdings and many other plaintiffs have joined together. A coalition of filmmakers, shall we call them, have gotten together and sued Comcast, one of the biggest ISPs in the world. And I'm going to show you a little bit about it. We're going to go to our blog here at vondrenlegal.com. Voltage Holdings goes after Comcast for copyright infringement. This is general legal information only, not legal advice. Everybody's considered innocent unless you prove them otherwise in a court of law. So these are allegations. So we're going to talk about it real quick. I'm going to pull up the complaint here on my website, Vondren Legal. Voltage versus Comcast. Let's take a look. All right, here we go. So this is a lawsuit that was filed in the United States District Court, that's federal court, Eastern District of Pennsylvania. Here's your case number. Here are all the plaintiffs. These plaintiffs have all joined together. It means they have a similar interest that they're pursuing, a similar set of facts, what we call a common nucleus of operative facts, if you want to get legal about it, legalese. Here's some of the plaintiffs: Voltage Holdings, After Productions, After We Fell, Venice PI, Bedeviled, Colossal Movie Productions, Dallas Buyers Club. You guys remember them? That was a great movie. Love that movie. Yard Productions, Wonder One, Fun Mom Dinner. That's an interesting one. Don't know much about them. Chase Film Nevada, other companies, so forth and so on. So the basics of the case, they're alleging copyright infringement, contributory infringement, and vicarious infringement as opposed to direct infringement. So they're saying you're helping facilitate all these downloaders of our movies. You're helping facilitate illegal activity that violates our copyrights because people are downloading, they're reproducing, they're sharing, they're displaying. They're doing all these things with our films. They're not paying us anything and they're getting away with it. So the basics of the allegations, I'll let you look at the table of contents here. This is a really nice written complaint. You will see this in a very nice written complaint. But the basics of the complaint is that these people are infringing on these pirated sites, these torrent sites, which I'll go over in a second, and that Comcast is getting notice of this, but they're not doing anything. They're just allowing them to infringe. Now, we have a law called the Dmca. You see this down here, the Dmca, Digital Millennium Copyright Act. That will give safe harbor, what we call safe harbor, to companies like Comcast, AT&T, and Verizon, but they have to have and enforce a repeat infringer policy. If you're not doing that, you can be held liable for copyright infringement. In fact, I believe it was in 2019 that Sony Music and was it Warner Brothers, Capitol Records sued Comcast, and I believe they got $1 billion judgment, which is up on appeal. Last I checked. So this falls on the heels of that case. There was a big case against Verizon. There was a big case against AT&T. So the action is getting hot and heavy and furious. And so I thought I would just kind of show you a little bit about it. Usually I'll just read the introduction here, and then if you want to read the rest, it's on my website at vondrenlegal.com. That's vondrenlegal.com. And I'll post it in the description section of this video as well. So here it is. Comcast, one of the largest internet service providers, that's ISP, in the United States, providing high-speed internet service to subscribers for a regular subscription fee for years. This is the allegation. Comcast has knowingly allowed Comcast users to engage in online piracy, the illegal distribution and downloading of copyrighted materials, including films. Comcast provides the IP addresses used for piracy, makes the connections needed to share and download the pirated films, and transmits the pirated films. Comcast knows that it is facilitating mass online piracy. Copyright owners have repeatedly told Comcast that its services are used for piracy. Voltage and its affiliates, producers of movies like Dallas Buyers Club and I Feel Pretty, have sent Comcast more than, get this, 300,000 infringement notices. So they're identifying infringers, they're sending them to Comcast. Their allegations, Comcast doing nothing or whatever they're doing with it, but they're not blocking these infringers, and that's what they're complaining of. In the last few years alone, Comcast users have pirated Voltage movies over 1 million times. Online piracy, please get that out, hurts the producers of creative works as well as the nation's economy. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce estimated that online piracy costs the U.S. economy over 200,000 jobs and over $30 billion a year, okay? Comcast can easily take action against the online piracy. They can stop providing internet services at any time. They can stop providing internet services to customer accounts that repeatedly use its services for piracy, and Comcast doesn't have to find these repeat offenders itself. Copyright holders like Voltage already do that by sending copyright infringement notices, but Comcast does not take this simple step. There's your allegation. Because online piracy is lucrative for Comcast profits subscriptions to its internet services. Comcast churn rate, the rate at which it loses internet subscribers, reached record lows in 2021, so they weren't losing too many customers. Instead of taking simple steps against illegal pirating, they turn a blind eye and continue to collect its customers' subscription payments every month. By not terminating and continuing to accept monthly payments from pirate accounts, they earn an estimated $400 to $1,000 in additional profits per average pirate account, which adds tens of millions of dollars to their bottom line. Okay, so here you can see it's basically, you can go on, that's their issue. It's pretty clear, pretty basic. Copyright law, DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act at issue. And there was also an allegation in here under 1202, 17 U.S.C. 1202, that is removing copyright management information, like you're taking the copyright holders, the symbol off or something you're claiming as your own, those kinds of things. So that's in here somewhere. Here you go. You have the plaintiffs. They're from all over the place. You can see Voltage Holdings, Nevada. You can see After We Fell Productions, United Kingdom. Here's a couple: California, plaintiff Venice PI, and plaintiff Bedeviled. They're from California. Here's a Dallas Buyers Club. Of course, they're from Texas. Yar Productions, New York. Here's a plaintiff Wonder One, Wyoming. On and on and on. Fun Mom Dinner. I'm gonna have to check that out. It's just funny. Was formed in Delaware. Chase Films in Nevada. Anyway, so just a whole bunch of plaintiffs got together. Common cause of action. They're alleging the jurisdiction. Here's all your plaintiffs. I'm not going to go into all the movies. You can see all the movies and the copyrights if you want to pause this and take a look here. Okay. And so there's a whole bunch of these, right? There's just tons of those. I'm not going to go through all those. Let's take a look. Is there anything else good in here? I always like to look for any pictures or anything like that. So they're just alleging that, when we send you a copyright notice, take action against these people, instead of profiting, just take action. So now they're suing. What do we have here? All right, here's their Comcast repeat infringer policy. So you can see, in order to have the DMC safe harbor, a company needs to have what we call repeat infringer policy. Not only have it, but they have to use it. They have to implement it. Down here it says, we reserve the right to move a customer account upon receiving any number of DMCA notifications from content owners in each month. So it means 1, 2, 3, they can remove you. All right. So that's really the basics of the account. Let's go down to what they're looking for. We'll tell you about the rest. Contributory copyright infringement, as I mentioned, means they're contributing to it. They knew, or in the alternative, had reason to know, is willfully blind to the fact that parties were infringing. Vicarious copyright infringement. Third parties using Comcast internet services directly infringed work. Specifically, they infringe the plaintiff's right to reproduce, distribute. These are the things I told you about. They're vicariously liable. They had a right and a practical ability to supervise and control the infringements, and plaintiffs alleging they didn't do anything. Violation of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and down here we have the 1202 claim. The third parties used defendants' internet service distributed or publicly performed works or copies knowing that the copyright management information had been altered without authority of the copyright owner or the law. These third parties did so knowingly. So I don't know really what that gets into. Somebody's alleging a claim like that. So anyway, here we go. What do we want? Actual damages, attorney fees. And with all the attorneys on this case, it could be massive. Listen, there's a ton of attorneys on this case. What else they want? Statutory damages. They want them to adopt a reasonable policy to terminate internet services when there's repeat infringements. They want them to block users of what they call these notorious foreign markets published by the United States government, YTS, Pirate Bay, RARBG, and 1337X. They want that blocked. And so there you have it. As I mentioned, tons of attorneys. There's your cover sheet in federal court. Copyright action. That's what we do here, Vondran Legal. So stay tuned. I'll post this case down in the description area, but this is, again, not legal information. We'll keep track. Now, some of my clients, we do a lot of strike three holdings defense. We handle hundreds and hundreds of these infringement cases, what we call the torrent cases. And I have clients asking me, is this case going to make a difference? Well, number one, it's at the very early stages. Number two, however, I would say, this is going to be a question. If one of these company, let's say like Strike 3, they track your movies, okay? Now, usually in my experience, they will not sue anybody unless they have at least 20 infringing downloads, okay? At least 20, Tushy, Black, Vixen, those kinds of things. So the question will be, if they find out there's 1 or 2 or 3 or 5, will they immediately send a takedown notice, thus sparing you of the lawsuit? That's going to be a question that remains to be seen. Or will they do what I think they'll probably do? They'll knock up 20, 30 infringements, send a letter to Comcast, AT&T, or Verizon, and then say, hey, take them down, do this, and then you still get sued. So that remains to be seen. So my clients is hang in there. We'll see what happens. I always think and still believe there should be some policy to give people a chance to get off the hook early if they know they're doing something wrong. If somebody tells them, hey, you're doing something wrong, I know there's no FBI symbol on the movies, but you can't download and share them. If they're willing to do that, limit the damages. Instead, we end up seeing damage requests as high as $50,000. So if you need help, copyright infringement action, you know where to find us on the web at attorneysteve.com. That's attorneysteve.com. Thank you for watching this episode of Copyright Watchdog. We'll be back with more news. Have a great day. I got to run. Bye.